All right, I'm back for a quick sculpting session before I get into that kitchen and cook dinner. I'm having salmon and yellow rice and some vegetables. So this is where she is right now. Some of the things have happened off camera. I've added the simulated arms. All of this has to be refined and finessed, of course, but for right now, this is where it stands. I'm hoping that all of this survives because these thin parts, of course, are going to dry the quickest, so I'm trying to keep them pretty saturated. I'll be spraying them ever so often. I said that I wasn't going to do any hollowing, but I might cut this area and do some hollowing out of the hips. I don't think I'm going to mess with the legs at all because this is going to get, I need to have enough thickness so that I can scrape away and sculpt away as I need to. So that will have to happen after I really truly feel like I am done, and I'm far from done right now. So what I'm going to be working on just before I get into the kitchen is the neck and head, and that's going to present its own set of challenges because I wanted to do an elongated neck. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Can't turn it on because it's not plugged in. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, so I wanted to do a very elongated neck like the last one, but the last vessel goddess was leaned over, her neck extended out from here, and her head was resting on this rim. Now, I don't have that particular benefit here because it needs to be, she's going to be sitting upright. So I can't do an elongated neck without making sure it has a sufficient level of support so that the neck can be held up. Now, there's only two ways to do that. That's either to basically forego the neck damn near. I'm going to take off a little piece. Let's say this is the head. If this was the head, the neck would have to be, it couldn't be that much further off. And even still, that's a lot of mass to hold on to something that's going to be about the dimensions of this part of the arm. But I'd like the head to be up here. So how do you, with something that's that dimension, sit something this big atop? It has to be something to hold on to the sides and the back. So what does that mean? You either got to give her head gear or you got to give her hair. So she is going to get hair. Probably, knowing me, a big ass afro that will be able to extend, sit atop the shoulders. The neck sculpted from that, the face sculpted was in that block of clay, and everything is connected and secured. So that's what we're going to try. And I've got to make sure I have enough clay to get that done. So I'm just pinching off pieces from the bag until I feel that I have the right amount. I am in Happy Land today too because on Amazon Prime they have the first season of Interview with the Vampire, the series that stars Grey Worm from Game of Thrones. And those of you who know me, not those of you who love me, but those of you who know me know that I love vampire shit, like so much, so much. My boy Keith got me into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and before you come with the jokes, that shit was brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. All right, so let's do this. Let's do some hollowing and work in. I just split that. That's too thin. I'll pull some more clay from another area. Pulling some clay up from the bottom, moving it into this bottom part of the face, and pressing it out gently from the inside. Moving some clay out from other areas that are thick on this interior that I know can take the hit. So for anybody who's watching Interview with the Vampire, how do you feel about the actress that plays Claudia? I think my personal opinion is Kirsten Dunst ruined it for whoever was going to try to step into her footsteps, because I honestly thought that she was brilliant as Claudia, managing to maintain a childlike petulance and also, you know, a demonic presence, and that took a lot, and she handled that. This actress, I'm not in love with her. I gotta tell you, I'm really not. I don't, maybe I'm not familiar enough with the accent to know that she's got it spot on, but I hate the accent. I just feel like this is not right. And it may be exactly right. I just can't tell. That face is too big, so what I'm gonna do is just pull back some of the clay and make it smaller. Beautiful thing about clay, once you realize you're going in the wrong direction, reset the GPS and get it together. Pull that additional clay into areas, because we can always just spot clay all around this temple and the hairline. That's not a problem. But we just want to make sure that there's enough thickness so that everything's as uniform as it can be. I think that's better. You guys never saw. I keep forgetting to turn the camera around, guys. I'm so sorry. So anyway, that's basically what's going to happen. Is this is going to be set onto here. It's going to be a little bit more forward. So I'm just going to take and reposition this clay. And I think I can afford to pull a lot more down into this area that has to be blended into the torso. So I'm going to do that. So I'm working like this in order with both fingers, same fingers on different hands, to get a better handle on the symmetry of the face. I think that's good. I still feel like I need to pull from inside here down into this neck area. Same thing, moving the clay around on the inside to build it up on this front part. So now this is taken on sort of a pinch pot technique, so that I won't have to worry about hollowing out the fro or the hair, because I'm just going to take my time and maneuver clay on the inside to make sure this is uniform, and the hollowing is done from the onset, so that I don't have to go back in and start splitting this piece, wire splitting this piece in order to hollow out. Like I said, at this point, I only want to do that in one area, and that's right back here, the hips, because there's a lot of clay in that section that's going to take a long time to dry. So I'm going to have to pull up with the wire through there, and then I'll hollow out that part. I think I can go ahead and slice off some of this. So as soon as I locate my tool that looks pretty much like an X-Acto blade, I will do that. I'm having a hard time finding it right now because I'm surely overlooking it, or I've put it off to the side somewhere. Yep, oh, I looked off to the side, don't see it. So it's in here. I just gotta slow down. There you go. That's what I was looking for, guys. So I'm just gonna slice off some. And this I can add back to fortify the parts that are thinner. So I'm just keeping that nice and moist. Do you know what I want? I know that they're creating a new movie that's going to be starring Michael, what's the guy's name from Creed? Michael B. Jordan? I always think of him as Wallace from The Wire. A vampire movie. I mean, okay, we'll see. It looks like it's going to sort of be along the lines of the time period that this series for Interview with the Vampire is from. It'll probably be great. But who they really need to tag for that and make sure he's part of it, Giancarlo Esposito. I need to see that man as a vampire in my lifetime. That needs to happen. Who else do you think would be dope? Because in your mind, they're vampires anyway. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. I don't know if y'all watched Queen Sugar, but the chick who played the daughter of their arch enemy, that racist family that they had to fight against for the entire time they had the land, that actress, I don't know her name, forgive me, she still looks like a vampire to me. And hell, Charlie does too. Charlie does too. And Bianca Lawson. Like, all of them look like, yeah, they could be part of a vampire family. So they really need to work that casting out and make it happen. So, all right. We got to do a little more manipulation. This is getting a little dry. I'll take my tool and do some work on this. Get that moisture permeating those outermost layers. I'm trying to push in and smooth. Push in and smooth. I don't have much time because it's getting late, and even though salmon cooks very quickly, as will the rice and vegetables, I'll start to take that for granted, and the next thing you know, we'll be around here eating at 9 something. And that's not the plan. I'm trying to be an adulty dolt today, you know? Get work done on my creativity, and also manage the household. My son has already cleaned the kitchen up, mopped the floor, so I have a great environment to go in, nice clean kitchen. I don't have to go in there cleaning anything up to get it ready. So he's done the legwork for me. Now I just got to do the cooking. Sometimes you can try to be so gentle and then you realize, nah, I need to go ahead and slap this shit into submission. So that's what's happening right now. Slapping it into submission, cleaning up cracks that are appearing as I go because of the way I'm manipulating the clay and forcing it into a shape that I did not originally plan for. So when that happens, you gotta make it work. Let's see what this is like now. I think that's better right there. All right, so it's time to go ahead and serrate and add some slip and start getting this applied. Now I'm twisting it, making sure that it's going to connect. And I'll take the tool, start blending this down. So I'm very gently pulling down as I push in. So I'm scooting this clay into the area that I want it to go in to be blending, right there. And because that nice texture is there, it's going to grip in, interlock, and dry as if it was one piece. Same thing in this little area on the side. Holding it lightly, light touch on the top, so as not to push the head down, but making sure that it stays firmly connected. And once you push that down, then you can start curving your tool a little bit more to accommodate that area of the blend. Same thing on this side. Come in, holding the top very gently, firmly pushing in while pulling downward. And remember, all of that is slipped up. All of that has tons of slip. So all of that's going to connect. And with any luck, we'll get to see this as a finished piece one day if it makes it through the kiln. All right, so got that piece joined. Let's turn this a little bit more so you can see what she's looking like. Cleaning off my tool on the side of the table. And I've got to bop this side into place a little. So while I'm supporting the head, I'm lightly tapping to alter the shape. Holding it at the front because most of this pressure is hitting forward. But I'm just holding it. I'm not pressing. But I'm slapping this and forming this clay a little more to my liking. And what I'm probably going to have to do, is put a little piece of the moistened clay that I kept just for this purpose. It's right here on this side. You just saw me spray it. I'm going to roll that out. It's capturing all the dust on my hands. That's about all I need. I need a little less than that. All right, so I'm trying to basically make this just about the thickness of the rest of this sort of helmet that has created the head. And now I'm going to join them together. So I have to go in here after I clean this off. All right, so I have to go in here and serrate this because it's going to all be joined together. And the little piece I'm adding is going to be joined to that area that I already serrated. I don't even think I'm going to add slip. I think I'm just going to miss it. I'll serrate this little piece that is going to work to close in that gap. And I just need it serrated on the bottom and the bottom edges and the top edge. Not in the middle because that's not really going to be attached to anything. So I've just sort of left that like that. So now I'm going to just fit it into place. Use the tool to join it. Matter of fact, I think I should flatten that out a little more. So I'm just altering the shape there. All right, so I'm going to take this tool and pull it in, push it in, and pull down. Now I'm bringing it up and around, gently pushing forward while I hold her head. Joining this together. Now I'm using a rocking motion because I want to push it forward, but I don't want to apply a lot of pressure. So you can rock it or seesaw it back and forth. And as you're doing that, you're also molding the shape that you want so that hopefully you don't have to go in and do a whole lot of reshaping with the tools. I'm taking this underhang and joining it to the shoulder area. And that's why you serrate such a large berth, a wide berth, because you're not always 100% positive, or at least I'm not at this stage of my sculpting career. You're not sure how far-reaching your alterations are going to be. Sometimes you think you're only going to be affecting a small area, and then you realize that you need to pay attention to a much larger area. So this keeps you from having to stop in the middle of everything because your planning was a little bit off. So this way I've got a lot of territory that's textured and ready to be joined. And if I don't need it, then I'll just go in and smooth that out. Seesawing to push this clay up into position without so that I don't accidentally move too firmly, too abruptly, push forward, cave in the head, because again, this is hollow. So you have to think about what's on the inside as well as what you're looking at from the outside. It's all relative. And once again, just pulling that clay down from the top and making sure that it is very securely joined to her shoulders. Right? Okay. All right. as I see that I can, I'm getting a little more aggressive with how I'm letting this slap, because I'm figuring out as I look at her what I want to do. And I've decided that I want this part to be a head wrap. So I'm going to have to shave away, but the clay on the inside is only about that thick. So I don't want to shave away, end up with something this thick that is now vulnerable in the kiln. So I'm forcing this to go back into the hollowed area so that the depth of the clay has not changed, but the areas that I can scrape away from has, and I have enough to go in and know that that thickness that I started out with is still maintained. I could probably use the paddle for this, but it's so big that I'm actually intimidated by it. I feel like I'll mess that up, so that's what I'm afraid of. But I might grab it in a second. Yep, I grabbed it. See, this is how big the paddle is. I don't know. We'll see. All right, that form is better for what I want to do. All right, okay, great. So now what we're going to do is finish joining, because this has not been joined. This area has not been joined, so we want to go ahead and take care of that. So I'm going to use this tool, pull this over a little more, and I'm going to pull down while pushing in. Very gently, because I just need this, I need the connection to be seamlessly secure. And once again, you see why I serrated so much of the area, because look how much this is covering. It wasn't just a matter of pulling down the neck and getting the head to fit. It's all the shoulder area that has to be attended to as well. All right. Same thing in here. And you angle your tool differently for the desired result. So I'm using the outside of it because I need that angle to push in and pull down. And I'm taking some of that same clay and moonwalking it backwards, just to make sure that that seam is closed up and filled with nice soft clay that'll hopefully dry pretty much at the same rate and not crack in an area that shows this is where, you know, a lot of focus was placed or a lot of work was done. And this is going to be left alone tonight for more work to happen tomorrow, but I also want to start on a new pendant tonight, and that's the last way that I'll spend my Sunday after cooking dinner. And I'm looking forward to working on both of them when I get home tomorrow. My turntable is getting rusty from all of the water spraying, but like I told you before, you guys know that vinegar and that baking soda does the trick. So I'm gonna wipe the table down a little bit, and we're calling it at 54 minutes on this. A little bit less, but we'll call it 54 minutes. And I wanna get the table all cleaned up so that once I'm finished with dinner, I can come back to a really nice working environment. So you might as well hang with me while I do that real quick, right? Unless you're making your dinner too and you're not late like I am. And I am going to tint this piece. I don't want it getting leather hard just yet. I need it to still be fairly pliable while I make all of the little adjustments that are necessary. I'm not spraying it, but I do want to keep it moist. So I'm closing up my serrating tool because I stab myself with that regularly. All right, you guys, so the table's all cleaned off. Everything's ready. The last thing I have to do is tint her real quick. And I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.